In this lesson, we will look at some HTML empty elements. An empty element does not have closing tags. So let's get started. Let's first create a document and let's call this empty elements and change the extension to HTML. Now if we open this with Visual Studio or some other text editor, and let's add our first empty element, img. This is used for putting an image in your web page. So when you are putting an img tag, you don't need a closing tag, just itself is enough, but you need to put an attribute source to actually provide the source for the image file. Now this source file can be a local file or it can be a remote file. Let's first look at an example of a local file. So for that, I will copy a picture from my local folder and put it at the same directory as my HTML page, and I will refer that file from my HTML. So it's logo.png. Let's save that, and now if we open that page, we'll see that logo appear as an image here. Now some other attribute that we can use here are width, and then if we put a width value, the height of the image will be automatically resized, keeping the image with the same ratio. So let's try 300 as image width, and you will see that now the image is appearing in 300 width and similarly ratioed height. But if we want, we could put a different height value as well, and it will use that. It will stretch the image accordingly. It might not look nice depending on what image you are using, but let's try that. So you saw that the image got stretched because I used a higher height value. As I said, that for image you can put a local source or you could put a remote source. So let's try an example with a remote source. So I copied my first example here, and now I'm going to search for an image. And once I have the image, I will copy the location of that image, and now I can use that location in my image source, and I can remove this width to see it with the default width. So as you saw that those two images are appearing side by side, and we may want to put the second image after this first image, and there we can use the other empty element other than the image, which is break, and it is written as BR and it doesn't need a closing tag. And when we put a break, you'll see that the image is appearing in the next line. So similar to break, there is another empty element. It's called HR or horizontal rule. What that will do is put a line. So let's see that example. So here you can see that line after the image. It will become more clear if we put some other elements after this. So let's put our final example of empty element, which is input. So for input, you need to have the type of what kind of input it is, and the most commonly used input type is text. So let's try that. So here we have a text input field, and here is the HR or horizontal rule. Similar to text, you can also have a input type equals to password. And you have probably frequently seen this field used together. So for example, text field is used for username, and then the password input type is used for passwords. And we can put a break between those two. So now you will see that we have the username field and password text field. Even though at a first glance they look similar, you will notice that one difference is that in the username field, or the input type equals to text field, whatever you type, it is visible. Whereas in the password field, if you type something, it is appearing as dots because you don't want anybody else to see that. So those are all the empty elements, commonest empty elements. IMG for image, BR for a line break, and then HR for horizontal rule, input with type equals to text or type equals to password. There can be other types, but these are the common empty elements. Thank you.